Once upon a time, in a kingdom where dawn sang and twilight dreamed, there lived a princess named Seraphina. She was born beneath a comet that streaked across the heavens like a silver tear. The old seers said the child would grow to bring light where shadows reign. Her mother, Queen Amara, kissed her brow and whispered, "You will be our sunrise." And indeed, Seraphina grew radiant, not for her beauty, though she had plenty, but for the kindness that lit her eyes. The people adored her laughter, which could make even flowers bloom faster. But her kingdom, Orethen, was not without sorrow. For beyond its crystal rivers and rose fields lay the wastes, a place of endless dusk. No bird sang there. No child played there. It was said a curse slept beneath that land, waiting to wake. The king forbade anyone to go near the border. But Seraphina, curious as sunlight, often rode her horse to the edge. She wondered what darkness could be so strong that even time avoided. One day, when she was 16, she saw something glimmering at the border's mist. It looked like a shard of glass, yet it pulsed like a heartbeat. When she touched it, the mist stirred and spoke, soon. Startled, she fled, but she couldn't forget the word. Soon what? She whispered to the wind. That night, she dreamed of a garden made entirely of glass, shining, fragile, beautiful, and in the center stood a boy with eyes of stormlight. He whispered her name, and the dream shattered. For days, she thought of nothing else. Her governess scolded her for daydreaming. A princess must think of alliances, not apparitions, the woman said. But Seraphina believed that dreams were messages, not madness. She confided in her childhood friend, Elias, the stable keeper's son. He was tall, quiet, and loyal, with laughter that sounded like bells far away. "If it worries you so," Elias said, "we can search the border together. You'd come with me." "Always," he said simply. So they planned to sneak away at dawn. The next morning, the fog at the border seemed alive. It curled and whispered as if aware of their presence. "Do you hear that?" she asked. Elias nodded, hand on his dagger. A faint voice called from beyond the mist, "Help me. Someone's there." Seraphina cried. Before Elias could stop her, she stepped through the veil. The world changed instantly. Colors dimmed, the air felt thick, like forgotten sorrow. Behind her, the path was gone. "Elias," she called. Only echoes answered. In front of her stood a forest made of crystal, each tree a prism of frozen light. It was beautiful and terrible. And then she saw him, the boy from her dream. He was bound to a tree by chains of smoke. His eyes glowed faintly, not gold, not blue, but something ancient between. "You came," he said softly. "Who are you?" "A prisoner of your kingdom's past." Seraphina's heart raced. "What does that mean?" "Your ancestors sealed away the darkness here, and me with it." "Are you the darkness?" "No," he said, "but it is part of me." "Then why do you call for help?" "Because the curse stirs. When it wakes fully, your world will burn with glass." "How can I stop it?" "Free me," he said. "And trust that not all shadows are evil." She hesitated. "How do I know you speak truth?" "You don't," he said with a small smile. "But truth seldom begs for belief." Something in his tone struck her, weary, honest, lonely. She reached out and touched the smoke chains. They hissed but did not harm her. "Tell me your name." "Kale." "I'm Seraphina." "I know," he said. "Your name echoes even here." The ground trembled. From the glass forest, dark figures began to rise, shapes without faces. "The sentinels," Kale said. "They guard the curse." "Then we run," Seraphina said. "I cannot move," he reminded her. She drew the small dagger Elias had given her. "Then I'll fight." "You'll die," Kale warned. "Perhaps. But not before trying." She faced the shadows. They came like smoke in the wind, silent and cruel. Her blade passed through them as if cutting fog. But every time one touched her, her skin turned a little colder. Kale shouted a word, ancient, powerful, and the chains cracked. Light burst from the ground. The shadow screamed and vanished. Seraphina fell to her knees, exhausted. Kale was free. He knelt beside her, his hand warm on her shoulder. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. "Too late for that," she murmured, smiling faintly. The mist thinned. "Will my kingdom be safe now?" "Not yet," Kale said grimly. "This was only the first awakening. Then what must we do?" "We must find the heart of glass." "Where is it?" "Hidden in your castle." "In my home." "Yes, sealed by your bloodline." They crossed back through the veil together. Elias was waiting, frantic. "By the gods, Seraphina. Where were you?" "Learning the truth," she said. Kale stepped out behind her, his cloak shimmering like dusk. Elias reached for his sword. "He's with me," Seraphina said quickly. "Are you certain?" "No," she admitted, "but I will be." They returned to the castle under cover of night. Seraphina led Kale through secret passages few knew existed. The moonlight glinted off his chains, still faintly smoking. "Why do they remain?" she asked. "Because part of me still belongs to the darkness." "Can that change?" "Only if I remember who I was before it claimed me." "Then we'll find out together," she promised. He looked at her as though no one had ever spoken to him kindly before. "You risk too much for me." "Perhaps I like impossible things," she said softly. In the library's deepest chamber, they found an old map carved into crystal. Kale traced a pattern upon it. "The heart of glass lies beneath the throne room," he said. "Sealed with ancient sigils. Can we break them?" "Yes, but not without cost." Elias frowned. "There's always a cost, isn't there?" "Always," Kale said quietly. They descended into the catacombs. The air grew heavy with forgotten sorrow. Beneath the marble floor of the throne room was a door of mirrored stone. It reflected their faces strangely, older, sadder, wiser. "Speak your truth," said an unseen voice. "Only truth may open the way." Seraphina stepped forward first. "I am not afraid to fail," she said. The mirror glowed faintly. Elias spoke next. "I will protect her, even if she loves another." The mirror flared brighter. Kale hesitated. "And you?" asked the voice. "I am the monster they made me," he said bitterly. The mirror dimmed. Seraphina touched his hand. "You are more than what was done to you." The mirror shone blindingly. Then shattered. Beyond it was a chamber of pure glass. In the center floated a heart-shaped crystal, pulsing softly. "The heart of glass," Kale whispered. "What must we do?" Seraphina asked. "Destroy it," Kale said. "If we destroy it, what happens?" Elias asked. "The curse will end, but so will I." "No," Seraphina said immediately. "It's bound to me," Kale explained gently. "My life feeds its power. Then we find another way." "There is none." "There is always a way," she insisted. The ground shook. From the walls, shadows began to crawl once more. The curse had awakened fully. Kale drew a blade of light from thin air. Elias took position at his side. "We'll hold them," Elias said. "You decide, princess." Seraphina's tears fell like rain on glass. "Kale, if you die, what becomes of the darkness?" "It dies with me." "And if it doesn't?" "Then it wins." "Then I cannot let either happen," she said fiercely. She ran to the heart and pressed her palms against it. Cold seared through her veins. She saw visions of Kale as a child, laughing, of the curse swallowing him whole. "It's not your fault," she whispered. "Let me carry it instead." "No," he shouted. But it was too late. The heart shattered. Light exploded through the chamber. The shadow screamed and vanished. When the brightness faded, Kale was gone. Only his cloak remained, resting across Seraphina's lap. She wept until dawn. Elias stood silently beside her, guarding her grief. When she finally rose, the first light of morning filled the glass chamber. It sparkled like hope reborn. "He's not gone," she said softly. "How can you know?" Elias asked. "Because the world is still beautiful." She returned to the surface, her people waiting, frightened but alive. The curse had lifted, the waste bloomed with flowers for the first time in centuries. The people called it the awakening of the dawn. But Seraphina knew what it had truly cost. She ruled wisely, her heart both strong and scarred. Years passed. The kingdom flourished under her care. Yet every night, she walked alone to the border. The mist was gone. But the memory remained. One twilight, she heard a whisper, "Soon." Her breath caught. The same voice, familiar, beloved. She turned, and there he was. Kale stood in the fading light, no longer bound, no longer shadowed. "How?" she breathed. "You took half my curse," he said. "And I took half your light." "Then we're both incomplete," she said softly. "Perhaps," he replied, "but together we are whole." She smiled through tears. "Will you stay this time? If you'll have me." "Always." Elias, watching from afar, smiled quietly. He turned away, content. The kingdom rejoiced when their queen chose love over legend. Kale became her guardian, her equal, her partner in peace. Together they rebuilt the glass garden, not as prison, but as sanctuary. Its trees sang when the wind blew, and its petals shimmered with starlight. People said wishes came true there. Seraphina never again feared the darkness. She learned that even shadows have hearts that long for dawn. Kale taught the children of Orathan how to weave light from sorrow. And Elias became the first knight of the new age. For 50 years, their reign was golden. The skies above Orathan were never dark again. When at last Seraphina grew old, she often sat beneath the glass trees. "Do you regret it?" Kale asked her once. "Regret loving you," she laughed softly. "Never. Even knowing what we lost." "We lost fear," she said. "That is no loss at all." When she passed, the kingdom mourned for 7 days. Yet no sorrow touched the glass garden. Its petals glowed brighter, and its trees hummed softly, like lullabies from another world. Kale stood at her grave and whispered, "I'll find you again, even beyond the stars." That night, the comet returned, the same that had marked her birth. It lit the sky in silver fire. The people said it was the queen's soul finding its way home. And Kale followed soon after, vanishing beneath its light. Some say they became twin stars in the heavens. The kingdom of Orathan flourished for centuries. Children still tell the tale of the princess of the glass garden. They say her laughter echoes in the dew at dawn. They say her courage lives in every flower that blooms through frost. And when the comet appears once a century, the skies themselves seem to whisper, "Soon." But not as a warning, as a promise. For somewhere beyond time, Seraphina and Kale walk again among the glass trees. Their hands entwined, their hearts one. The moral of their story is not about breaking curses or fighting shadows. It is about seeing light in what the world calls dark. About daring to believe that compassion can shatter ancient magic. About knowing that love, even fragile as glass, is still the strongest thing there is. So when you see dawn reflecting in crystal dew, remember the princess who touched the impossible. Remember the boy who carried both light and night. Remember that every ending is only a beginning seen from the wrong side. For the princess of the glass garden still lives, in every act of courage, every kind word, every dawn reborn. And if you listen closely at sunrise, you might still hear her voice on the wind, whispering, "Don't be afraid to walk into the mist." The bards sing her song in soft tones, so no glass will break from its beauty. The elders recite it at festivals to remind children that hope is never truly gone. Travelers from far kingdoms come to see the garden, now endless, ever blooming. They leave offerings, mirrors, flowers, shards of crystal, all symbols of reflection and strength. Some claim to see two faint figures walking there at night. Others swear the trees bow when moonlight touches them. None can explain it. But all believe. Because belief, as Seraphina once said, is the root of every miracle. And so the story continues, like light through endless glass. The end, and the beginning.